Hey guys, so today we're going to learn how to log into Fusion, and we're going to create a new sketch, explore the different shapes you can use, learn the functions such as extruding, lofting, and revolving your sketches, and then we're also going to dimension your object at the end. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up Fusion, and then it should ask you to sign in, and it should be just your login from when you created your Autodesk account, which you did when you installed Fusion onto your computer. Whoops. Okay. So once you sign in, you should see something like this. So you're gonna first create a new, ignore this, you're first gonna create a new project, and by clicking this blue button, you're gonna create a new project and then you're gonna name it however you want it to be. I'm just gonna go ahead and use an old project such as this one, project example. And then over here in your workspace, we're gonna first go over how to create a new sketch. So to create a new sketch, you're gonna click on the button right here, the icon, create sketch, and then you're gonna click that. And then it's gonna, you're gonna wanna click on what plane you wanna use. So over here you can see the different planes. I'm going to be using the ZX plane or the XZ plane, and I'm gonna click on that. So first we're gonna go over the different shapes and the lines you can use. So to use we're gonna first go to use a line. And to make a line, you're going to first put where you want your first point to be, and then you're going to go in the direction, whatever direction you want your line to be. I'm just going to go horizontally like this. And since at the top is the dimension of the line, so like the length of the line, it's already highlighted and you can just type in whatever length you'd like. So I'm going to put in like 6 inches, and then I'm going to click enter. And since my mouse was in this direction, it's gonna make a line 6 inches in this direction. Another way to make a line is you can just create a random line. Just click check mark. And then right here, you're gonna find an icon or a tool called Sketch Dimension. And this is what we're gonna use to dimension our line or whatever shape you make. So I'm going to click on the line and I'm going to place my dimension, and I want this line to be 2.5 inches long. And I'm going to click enter. And it's automatically going to make my line 2.5 inches long. Now other shapes we can do, I'm just going to delete all these lines, is the rectangle. So you can just click and drag and make your rectangle. And you can also dimension your rectangle however you want. So I'm going to just do 1 inch. And this can be 3 inches. And there you go. There you can also make a circle. So this is a diameter circle, so it's going to do it in whatever the size would be based on the diameter of the circle. I'm just going to make it 2 inches. And there we go. I have my circle. Another one is an arc. So we can use a center point arc. Is one of the 3 arcs you can make. So you can do something like this, where it all lines up to one center point, so it's at a radius. And let's see, another arc you can make is a 3-point arc, so where so the arc is touching every single point, all 3 points of that you've placed, and then the last arc we're going to go over is actually a tangent arc, which you would need something like a line. So maybe you want to have a straight line here, and then that should be good, and then another line this way. Oops. Okay, yeah, another line this way, and then maybe you want an arc right here in between. You can go here and click arc, and you'd want tangent arc. Click here and here, and I have arc touching both sides. Let's see, and then other things you can create are an ellipse. So for the ellipse, I'm going to actually, to navigate your sketch or work plane or workspace, down here there is a navigation bar where you can click here is pan, and you can kind of click and drag your like sketch plane. So we can move over here, and we're going to create an ellipse. So first you're going to make the major axis of your ellipse, so like the longest, so like the largest length of it, I guess. So let's see, you can make it just like this. And then you're going to make the minor axis. So I'm going to drag it this way. And it could be vice versa too. It depends on how you want it and where you want it. So that is my ellipse. We're going to create then, also you can use the spline tool, which I'm going to go over. I'm going to do fit points spline because it's easier to use. You're going to click, and this is good for if you want to make, I don't know, something maybe a squiggle, or like you can also do an odd shape. So this was just an example of a squiggly line. You can place your dots, and then the lines will adapt and kind of curve to the points. If you're looking to make it into shape, you can also do that. So you can just click something like this. I can do something like this and click back to the point I started, and then it creates a shape. And it's filled, and so it makes the shape whole, like highlighted in the middle, blue. Okay. So now that we have gone over all the shapes, then the different tools you can use to create your actual sketches, I'm going to delete everything, and then we're going to go over how to extrude it and revolve your sketches, and what else? You can extrude, revolve, and loft. So first we're going to go how to extrude a sketch. I'm going to create something very simple, like a square or like a rectangle. I'm going to create this, and I'm going to, we have that, you can then right click, and you can click extrude. Okay, now I'm going to extrude it however much I want. So in this case, I'm going to say maybe 4.5 inches, and it's going to extrude upwards because I created my sketch from the bottom here, the bottom plane, so it extruded upwards. And now you have a 3D object. To navigate on this work plane, you're going to click down here, you can click orbit, and you can move your object around, or you can go to the top here and you click home. This is where your object is at its natural position that it's placed in. It's this home button. But on the view cube on the top right, you can click front to see the front views from straight on. You can turn it so you can see the right view from straight on. Same goes for the back and every other side. You can also, here you can also like turn it so it's on its side, or however you like. And then you can always go back in orbit and move around to any actual angle you want it to be at. Oops, let's see, like that. All right, now that we have extruded it, we're going to actually, I'm going to remove the extrude from the timeline at the bottom left corner. So I can take this sketch, and the sketch you actually can't see, I have to turn it on. Take the sketch, and then I'm going to click on it, and this time, instead of extruding it, we're going to try revolving it. This is going to create more of a cylinder type of shape instead of like the rectangular prism we saw earlier. So after you've clicked it, you can click up here on the revolve icon or tool, You can also find it under create. It's also right here under revolve. Then let's see, give it a sec. Oh, yeah, here we go. I already selected onto the sketch, that is my profile, and then the axis, so where you want to rotate it over. So my axis, I'm just going to choose this line right here, and then click OK. Now you have your new cylinder. And to turn off the plane, you can always go, or the sketch, you can always go here and turn off the sketch, turn it back on. And if you want a cylinder where there's like maybe a hole in the middle, or you don't want the axis to like, or it to be filled, you can always go, I'm gonna delete this, and then I'm gonna use the same one here, and I'm gonna go back, double click the sketch at the timeline below, at the bottom left. And if I want, let's say I want to revolve it around here, I'm gonna create a line where I want it to be revolved around. I'm going to make it the center line, or you can do construction, both will work. Click finish sketch, and then I will go back here, click the revolve tool, I'm going to select my profile. Since I did center line, it will automatically make it your axis. If you did construction line, you will have to click on it for your axis. But then I want to do, I click the profile and then click OK. So now you have a cylinder object with a hole in the middle because you revolved it around this way. There we go. Now I'm going to, now that we have done the revolve feature or tool, we're going to go over the loft tool. So to use the loft tool, we're going to create, let's delete this, and I'm going to delete this too. So I'm going to create a new sketch, and let's see, for, I'm going to, whoops, I'm going to create, let's see, go here. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. Okay, sorry about that. Now I'm going to create a new sketch, and I'm going to use this plane again, the one that, the bottom one, the ZX or XZ plane. I'm going to go for maybe, let's say this time, I'm going to go the ellipse. So we're going to go, and I'm going to create an ellipse. Finish sketch. And then to use the loft feature, which I can make it basically extrude, but it won't be the same shape as bottom. I can make it any shape I want at the top, and it'll extrude and all points will touch. You'll see what I mean once we've done it. Now that you have your sketch, you're gonna right click with your mouse and click offset plane. Now you'll make, this will be where the other shape you have, where it will be lofted up to, will go. So I'm going to want it to be, this object to be maybe 2 inches tall. I'm going to click enter. And then now I have my offset plane. I'm going to create a new sketch on the top. So at the top here, I can make any sketch or any shape I want. So I could also make a bigger ellipse. So maybe I want the top to be a bigger ellipse. I'm going to click finish sketch. And then I'm going to press the home button so I can see both planes and both shapes and sketches. I'm going to go under the Create tab and click on Loft. It's going to ask for my 2 profiles. I will click this profile for my first one and this one for my second. And automatically it should loft into a new body like this. Now you can kind of move it around. Yep, and there you go. That's how you use the loft tool. Okay, now we're going to use the loft and extrude tool to actually cut away material instead of building it this time. So to use the extrude tool to cut away material, as an example, I'm going to cut away, I'm going to make a triangle and I'm going to cut away some material downward. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new sketch again. And then I'm just going to create a triangle out of lines. Something I did not show before was the point tool, where I can indicate where I want maybe my points for my triangle to be. So I can just like place it in advance like this, and then I can go in my line tool and whoops, I did not mean to make a point there. I'll just delete that. Create my line tool and go like this, and it makes it a lot easier. Click, there we go. And I'm going to finish my sketch. So now I'm going to click on the triangle sketch and I'm going to right click, extrude. And instead of, if I want this to go down, maybe cut away material but go downward 0.5, I will type in negative 0.5 so it knows that it's cutting away material. It will automatically change the operation to cut now that I put in negative there, and then I'm going to click OK. And there we go. We have our extrusion that cut away material. Now we can also cut away material with loft. So I'll show you that. I'm just gonna delete this. And I'm going to go back and make a new sketch. So as an example, I'm going to create a circle on the top of the object. And then I'm just going to do it all the way to the bottom. So cut all the way through. Then I'm going to create another sketch at the bottom. I'm just going to make it a smaller circle. Finish sketch. And then we're going to click on the loft tool. And then our first profile will be this one. And the other one will be the one at the bottom. And then it automatically knows that we're cutting away material. So it's going to make it highlight it and make it all red. And then the operation is also change the cut and click OK. And there we go. All the material is cut away. So now we're going to, now I will show you guys how to dimension your objects in your sketches. So if I go back to my timeline down here, I can click on my sketch. You can also find your sketches over here. You can click on sketch from here as well. And to dimension them, as you've seen before, you're going to click, you can click like this. I'm going to do, this is, let's see, it is more difficult to do it with, let's see. You know what, we can do it. So I'm going to go back to the sketch and we're going to dimension it. I'm going to click on my sketch dimension and we're going to do the major axis, click enter here. And this is also where you can change it, and even after you're lofting and extruding, changing the height and length will still work. So I can change this to 2. And my object will adjust. I think that was the bottom one, so. Okay, and one thing I did not go over when I went over shapes is the polygons. So I'm just going to quickly do one example of a polygon. There's 3 different types of ways you can make a polygon, but I'm going to do an inscribed polygon. So that polygon is actually inside of a circle. To do that, I'm just going to click where the center of the polygon will be, and then I'm going to make it, I'm going to do 1 inch, and then I'm going to click tab to highlight the number of sides I want. I want 9, so I'm clicking 9 and then put enter. And there you go. I have my polygon. And to save your sketch or your work, you're gonna, at the top left corner, there is a save button. And click that, name your work. I'm gonna say polygon. And I'm gonna put it under project example. That is my project. I'm gonna click save. And you're done. Thank you for watching.